So, how does a small tech startup from Arizona find itself right in the middle of a massive green development plan in East Africa? Well, today we're going to unpack a pretty wild $1 million pitch that connects off-grid tech, sustainable industry, and a really bold vision for a nation's future.
Okay, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the startup's super ambitious pitch. Then, we'll zoom way out to understand Uganda's national green blueprint. After that, we'll see exactly where they connect in a specific deal. Check out the global network it's supposed to be a part of. And finally, we gotta weigh the massive risks against those potential rewards.
So, our story kicks off, maybe surprisingly, not in Africa, but in Arizona, with a tech company called Direticular. And they have a very, very specific and very big idea. Let's just pause on the language here for a second, because this is straight from their investor documents. They're not just talking about solar panels. Sovereign off-grid command centers. That phrasing tells you everything. They're pitching these completely self-sufficient, high-tech hubs for places that are totally off the grid. It's a heck of a mission. And to get their first big projects off the ground, this was the magic number they were looking for in their initial fundraising round. $1 million. And yeah, this figure comes directly from their private placement memorandum. That's the official document you use to raise capital from investors. So how do you get people to invest in such a bold idea? Well, they used a pretty common tool for startups called a convertible note. Basically, it's a loan that turns into ownership in the company later on, and it comes with some nice perks for taking that early risk. You can see the key terms right here, things like 12% interest and a 20% discount on future stock. The main takeaway, though, is that this is a classic high-risk, high-reward setup, designed to attract investors who are feeling a little adventurous. All right, now we're going to pivot hard. Let's zoom out from that $1 million pitch to the national strategy of an entire country. Because to really get why Direticular is in Uganda, you have to understand Uganda's own ambitious plan for its future. At the heart of Uganda's strategy is this idea, the Eco-Industrial Park, or EIP. Don't just think of it as a bunch of factories. Think of it more like a self-contained ecosystem that's designed from the ground up for green growth. The whole goal is to use resources as efficiently as possible, create minimal waste, and, crucially, benefit the local communities. And look, this isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. This map, which is from the government's official strategy document, shows the plan to roll these parks out all across the country. Every single one of those dots represents a potential new hub for sustainable industry. It's literally a national blueprint for a whole different kind of economic development. Now, what's holding this whole strategy up is a really powerful economic idea called natural capital. The policy basically says, hey, nature isn't something to just use up and throw away. Instead, it's a valuable asset, a stock of resources like forests and clean water that, if you manage it right, provides a continuous flow of benefits to people. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. It's not just about the environment. They call it the capitals approach, and it treats the nation's wealth like a balanced portfolio. Sure, you have natural capital, but you have to balance that with social capital, things like our communities, and human capital, our skills and health, and of course, produced capital, which is our physical infrastructure. It's a really holistic way of thinking about what progress actually means. Okay, so we've got a high-tech startup from Arizona on one side, and an ambitious national policy from Uganda on the other. So where do these two stories finally meet? Well, it all comes together right here, in a remote region of northern Uganda called Kaban. This is where the rubber meets the road. In an addendum to the partnership agreement between Direticular and their local partner, Agra Energy Uganda, they lay out exactly who's doing what. You can see Direticular handles the techie stuff, building the command center, shipping it over, doing the digital modeling. Meanwhile, Agra Energy handles everything on the ground: logistics, prepping the site, security, staffing. It's a really clear split between international tech and local know-how. But this partnership is about way more than just logistics. The terms of the deal show just how tightly woven it is with Uganda's national vision. The project is actually legally required to meet those EIP standards we talked about. And check out the details on data and carbon credits. All the agricultural data stays in Uganda, while the carbon credits, they're split 50-50. This isn't just some company selling a product, it's a real partnership designed to line up with Uganda's green policy. So the deal in Kabang is all set. But as it turns out, this one project is just a single piece of a much, much bigger global puzzle that the startup has in mind. The company's global strategy has this cool code name, Operation Octagon. And the goal isn't just to build a bunch of isolated command centers. No,
The idea is to link them all into what they call a global data mesh, which is basically a smart network where every location can share data and learn from all the others in real time.
And here's where we can see how those pieces connect. The Kabang project is officially called Node 3, the industrial anchor. It's the one that's supposed to prove the business model. Meanwhile, Node 7, back in Arizona, that's the R&D and testing hub for extreme heat. And they've got other nodes planned for places like Jerusalem and Canada, each with its own specific job. The idea is they all learn from each other. And this quote, taken from their own project blueprint, really captures the spirit behind all the technical details. This is how we build the heartbeat of umoja. Now, umoja is the Swahili word for unity. So they're framing this whole global network, not just as a bunch of machines, but as the very pulse of a new, more connected, more sustainable way to build communities. A global data mesh, the heartbeat of unity. I mean, it has a powerful vision, but the documents are also brutally honest about the immense challenges here. So for our last section, let's take a look at the hard reality of actually making this happen. This is pulled straight from their investor memorandum. The company is totally upfront about the risks. They list political instability, the challenge of getting new tech to work in harsh environments, the nightmare of complex global supply chains, and of course, the fact that this isn't a stock you can just easily sell tomorrow. To put it simply, everybody involved knows this is a true frontier investment. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question, right? Is this project, this perfect marriage of high-tech vision and national policy, is it the new blueprint for how we do sustainable development? Or is it just a brilliant, incredibly risky, high-tech gamble out there on the edge of what's possible? The answer, I guess, is going to be built one off-grid command center at a time.